The Kitmen! Alright lads, welcome to the Kitmen. We're doing the Premier League roundup show for, I think it's round 8 of the Premier League weekend. I'm also Kevin.
And I'm Kevin also.
Right, so we're also going to do a preview of Atletico Madrid game coming up, which will be tomorrow night because we're recording this on a Monday. So this is pre-Arsenal versus Crystal Palace as well, so we can't really say much about them or whether it matters or not in the long run, the scheme of things, because they're both kind of going to be around the upper half of the mid-table or the lower half of the mid-table, I think. Because I think Patrick Vieira is doing well with Crystal Palace at the moment, more than what I expected him to be doing. So they're pulling out results, but obviously teams like us are going to still tear them apart, if you get me. So, but anyway, getting into it, we should start off straight away with the show with Mo Salah again, hitting that. I have to be biasly starting off with this because 2 goals of the seasons in 2 games in a row. It's who's going to win? Is it going to be Mo Salah? Or is it going to be Mo Salah? So that's for me. Yeah, there was a couple of great goals as well at the start of the season that could be up there for a shout as well. But I mean, that's individual brilliance. What do you think?
Well, we were watching it, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I think you could tell by particularly your reaction, what a great goal it was. I don't think I could quite believe it at the start when I seen it. I was like, Jesus, was that goal better than the goal he scored? That was the first thing I thought about straight away. He's unbelievable. From the very start of the game, it just looked like he was up for it. Nothing was going to stop him. He has that, as you alluded to as well in the watch along, he has that thing that he had in the first 2 seasons, where he's just nothing is going to stop him. Everything is trying is coming off. He was still fantastic last year, but not hitting the same levels that he did before. He just looks unstoppable. I know the argument is going to be made: is he the best player in the world? I'm not saying he's hitting the levels that Messi or Ronaldo were consistently hitting for a long time. But right now, at this moment, he has to be recognised as the best player in the world. Messi is playing in France, which is not a top league, unfortunately. Ronaldo is at United. He's doing what he's doing. Ronaldo is Ronaldo, but they are kicking on a bit as well. I've never rated Neymar, never rated him at all.
Yeah.
He's a fan Zidane, that's about it.
Okay, was gone there for a second. Oh, he's back. He's back there. Yeah.
Maybe Lewandowski in Germany, all right, is hitting those levels, but there's a lot of tap-ins with him, isn't there? He's in and about the box. What Salah's doing and the way he's doing it, it's unbelievable. So I would argue that at this present moment in time, he is the best player in the world.
Oh yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think Mo Salah is the best player on the planet at the moment, like by a country mile, just in standards of his work rate, in standards of what he does on the ball, what he's able to create. His assists, I mean, that assist from Manny yesterday was ridiculous. Outside of yeah, that was ridiculous. I mean, you can't put that by anyway. You can't sit there and say that like he's not up to that level of standard when he's pulling things off like that weekly, pretty much. I know he had a bit of a different form. Not really. We can't see it a different form.
Well,
Salah's been consistently.
By his standard,
yeah.
By his standards, it was a small dip, but the team struggled. But he still performed all the time. He was still a top scorer.
So every season he was hitting 20 to 30 goals a season in between. It's only the first season or so he hit 40 odd goals or something like that, which blew 40. So it was, well, he beat the record for the Premier League most goals or something by Nissel, right? Yeah. So it's something. Yeah, he reached 38 or something like that. I don't know what it was at the end, but on that fight, like I just every time now I see him at the moment, there's a smile on his face, and it makes me smile. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm the kind of fella that wears whatever. I'm 40 years of age, and I'm still the dude that wears the names of players on their back and their jersey, So I'm excited to say that the next jersey when I buy the third kit is just going to have Salah back on the front of it, on the back of it again, So that's just me. Like I'm just like I'm like a kid when it does come to that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, Mane is scoring regularly as well. I mean, we can't look what we can't. He had a different form last season as well. But it's not even that. If you look at our season last season in comparison to this season, we were missing key players last season throughout the season. Van Dijk being a notable one, the defense being a notable one. The fact that Fabinho and Henderson had to play in the defense meant that Trent and Andy Robertson didn't have the outlets that they had to run up the pitch and create the assists to the lads up front that they did. So in hindsight, us missing a defend and us having to miss that pivotal midfield, and like I can see why Hendo's kind of had a dip in his kind of form. He's still going to run his socks off, but he's knackered. He's just played a tournament in the thing that he was injured coming on for him and whatever like that. He's only coming back from that injury. He was out for a few months, before that. Fabinho had to move back into the back line. Hendo got injured because of playing in the back line, and then we had to play two pretty much. Let's call him kids. I know Nat Phillips has been around a bit and whatever, but he's never played in the Liverpool defence at this work rate and that. And they have to be commended what they did. And coming back to that point, people are forgetting about what they actually did to get us into the Champions League and how well that they played. At the back end of last season, especially in that drive for the Champions League spot. We finished third with pretty much a second string squad that was left there, if we were playing the late ends of a cup competition or something. That's the kind of squad that we were playing with coming in, and we did it well. So fair dues to those lads. But getting back to it, Mane is on form. Bobby's coming into a bit of form now. He's smiling. He's always been smiling, but he's the extra smile. The pearly whites are showcasing everywhere. The celebration of the one hand is coming out again. It's there. Klopp is happy out. You can see him smiling in every interview now. But he knows that these boys are back. He says we've never went away. We were just hindered, is what it was. And people saying, going on about last season, and I'm going to have a bit of banter here over the bank saying it was the worst defence in title history, but I mean, I think they remember them finishing 8th after their last one or something like that, where we finished 3rd. And also, they were saying a couple of seasons before that the biggest bottle job in history or something like that. But that was also them. So we'll get over that anyway. That's the banter stuff aside. But with regards the Champions League game coming up, we might as well kind of get that out of the way, and then we can do a little bit of review over the rest of the roundup of the EPL. Atletico Madrid, Suarez coming back.
It's going to be a tough game, obviously. Heading away to Spain to take them on at home. They're always dangerous. Any Simone team is going to be tough. They're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be difficult to break down. I believe they're 4th in the Spanish league at the moment, but I think they're like on 17 points, and I think Madrid are top on 20 points. So it's very close around the top 4 there as well. I know Benzema's having a great season, I believe, at the moment. He is top scorer over there. But again, Suarez, despite his age, despite everything that's going on, I think he's in and around the top scorers as well, maybe 4 or 5 goals. Again, that just highlights how dangerous Suarez is always going to be. And if he is there tomorrow night, he's definitely going to be a danger. I think he'll be up for the match, particularly after what Liverpool did to Barcelona a couple of years ago. Suarez is the kind of dirty assassin that, he's just going to be up for beating us, even though he obviously loved playing for Liverpool. He's just one of those players. He's world class. So, yeah, I suppose, look, I looked at the other fixtures in the Champions League. Our game is definitely the standout game, Liverpool and Atletico. But Liverpool have been strong in the Champions League so far this year, So I think once we do not lose, it's going to be a good result over there.
Yeah, I think so as well. Just get the result, get out of there. At this stage, because we're so comfortable in where we are in the group at the moment, you could nearly take the away draw. But on the form that Liverpool are playing at the moment, I think they'll just go for it. Could you imagine Salah and Mane sitting back saying, all right, so we're just going to go over here comfortable. Yeah, I'll keep a cover going back. But they've got a point to prove. They did it the other day against Watford, where the last time we played Watford, we lost 3-0, which was what ended our possible invincible season. And the lads looked like they were out to punish Watford yesterday, as if, even though it was 2 years ago, they were just like, yeah, that's in our mind. That was like a bad day for us.
And you know what?
Same thing happened with Atletico Madrid,
Atletico, they beat us as well in the Champions League. They knocked us out last year. That was that was just before the whole Corona thing kind of kicked off, really, wasn't it?
They did us a bit dirty in the way they were playing as well, so I would say just go at them and punish them, give them a right good.
Yeah, and I think Alisson and obviously Fabinho are going to be available for that game as well. I believe they flew straight into Spain rather than coming back to Liverpool after the Brazil international match. So that will help us as well. I know Queven Keller didn't have a lot to do in the last game, but I was very impressed with him for the 1 or 2 moments that he did have to.
He had a
Did have to
fantastic
help us
save.
out.
Fantastic
He
save off the
did, yeah,
post.
yeah,
A
off
lot
the
of people
post, yeah,
didn't
yeah,
see that, and we were talking about it, and I said, that's definitely a
yeah.
save, when we were doing it on the live stream.
Mm,
But
mm.
yeah, no, it's fantastic. I mean, anytime he stepped into the post, he's given a good show of himself, a good count of
Yeah,
himself,
yeah.
I don't think
And
he's
he's
let us
only
down.
21, 22, but
Yeah,
he looks very confident and very assured.
yeah. Tip Wood, he hasn't let us down yet, so.
Well,
So,
I think. Look, to get back to the Atletico match,
mm,
I would say this. Yeah, look, Atletico are always going to be a very difficult team to play, no matter where they are or what they're doing, and they're just that type of team. Simone is that type of manager as well, and they just have those to call good dirty players.
yeah,
They can always give you bother. But I suppose, again, just to return to what you were saying, the form that Liverpool are showing at the moment, there's no reason we can't go over there, get the victory, and just
yeah,
move on to the next
yeah.
game after that.
Yeah, I think if we take that victory away from home against Atletico Madrid, it becomes inconsequential, going forward.
Mm,
We only basically need a point elsewhere or something,
yeah.
or just even a win against one of the other crowds, and we should be comfortably going through into the next round, where you can start playing lesser players in
Mm,
or the rest of the squad, utilize the squad in such high caliber games to give them experience, if you get me.
yeah, yeah.
So so that'd be the perfect opportunity. I mean, that's the perfect scenario you could really ask for. Beat Atletico Madrid away, come into the next game, get a win in the next game again, or is it them again next, or is it split? I haven't seen.
I
But
think it is them next as well. I
okay,
think it is at Anfield. I could be wrong, but I
to
believe
get
it
the
is. But
to get the next win, it could have been what's the small crowd in the group. Well, anyway, the it could be them. And if it isn't, just get the result at Anfield. Don't get a loss. And in the last two games, you can play whatever teams you want, make it nice and comfy. Because I mean, this is a hell of a week for us. We've got
yes, it
we've
is.
got Atletico Madrid tomorrow
And then
night,
United.
and then we've got United. I mean, there'll be games. Yeah, we'll get to United now in a minute with that game in the Premier League showcase. But I mean, that's a hell of a week for us. And
Mm,
at that stage, we will have had Chelsea,
yeah, City.
City, United out of the way pretty much in the league,
Mm,
um, and Atletico Madrid away from home,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
in the league. So that to be where we are, which is on top of the Champions League and right there battling next to
Right up the top
Chelsea,
of the table as
right
well.
up the top of the table, coming into a period where you could say we're going to have more comfortable games coming up, because the likes of United and Chelsea and them are going to start hitting their harder games now as well,
Mm,
and City as well. Whereas we're going to have maybe a better run of it. Besides maybe Arsenal in the end of November, if their form
I think we've
improves and
everything coming
improves.
up there as well somewhere, don't we?
Everton are there as well, but
Yeah, yeah.
Agent Rafa's on the case there, so I'm not too worried about
I think
that.
I think as well. I was just thinking back there. The thing about Salah, we were talking about, like, him being the best player in the world at the
Mm,
moment, looking up for. I think one of the things I've been very impressed by is just his attitude in
mm.
interviews. I've heard him being interviewed a few times, and he's constantly talking about winning the Premier League
Yeah,
and constantly talking about winning the Champions League.
yeah,
So you can tell. No, look, he's looking for that new contract as well. So there's no harm.
yeah.
He's winning the argument on that front. But I just, yeah, I think his attitude this season, he's come back, he's refreshed, he's ready to go. And I think if that's the attitude in the
Mm.
dressing room, Liverpool are going to go very far in everything this year.
Yeah, you see, look, the way the market has gone in recent years, if you've got a world class player at your squad, they're about 300 to £320,000 a week,
Mm,
kind of jobby. Um, you got stung by Alexis Sanchez in that kind of way, where they had to do
yeah,
it. But if he's already at the club and performing at that level, and you know, and he deserves it, because if he let's call a spade. He's been our most consistent goal scorer and our most consistent player since he's joined the club. He
yeah,
came in, put on the boots, and he literally didn't stop running since.
yeah.
Some of the things that as I said, that he wasn't doing in the last couple of seasons, whereas he was might turning into trouble or whatever like that. And
Particularly last
but
year,
I mean,
yeah.
you're talking about a fellow who's at the peak of his fitness, but it looked like he had a bit of a burnout, even though he was faster than
Mm,
everybody else in the pitch. That there was a few players there that were just tired. I mean, Mane wasn't scoring as much. He wasn't doing as much last season. Now they look bang on it.
yeah,
They look like they want to do something. But these kind of players, give them the money. Salah's been our most consistent player. Pay him the money. If you
yeah,
can't pay him the money, I like don't get me wrong. I like FSG's structure. of how they do business, how they get in sponsorships, how they run the club, and it sustains itself, and all profits from the club go back into the club. So I like what they do that way. A lot of people just don't like it because they're not spending the big money like the oil barons and stuff like that. So if that's the case, if they don't want to do it and their wage structure is like that and they're willing to let Salah go, then either sell the majority shareholder to somebody else and still be involved with the club, or you know it's going to come down to the point where don't let Salah go for free in 2 years' time, So either give him the money that he wants with the extension that he wants. So he's got 2 years left in his contract. Just give him another. Like Salah will go at least 36 at a high peak.
He will. He will.
So
he'll have those Ronaldo type fitness levels. He seems to be one of those guys.
Yeah, like he's just he does like he does not get injured, at all. He looks after himself so well. He doesn't get injured. So I'm saying that now, I don't want to jinx it, but but he doesn't. Mane is the same. The odd time you might get a strain or something like that, but strains are something that are walked off in a couple of weeks, and they're the kind of injuries that you kind of want to see, where they're missing for maybe a game and come back. It's because of the standard that's set by Jurgen Klopp at the club for fitness wise and how you look after yourself and how you condition yourself. James Milner is the same. He only gets a strain every so often. Dude doesn't drink, takes anything, eats anything bad, and just really looks after himself because he knows what's required. And I think a lot of people since he came into the club have followed suit as well, with how they conduct themselves off the pitch and and what they do. I mean, Steven Gerrard was still part of that genre that were there, that went to the pub still, and on the weekends and did all that. None of these lads do that, and if they do, they just go for a meal and they come home. They all kind of are on the same page, lads. Let's enjoy ourselves in our 30s or something like that and just do what we need to do now. So you have to commend Klopp in his setup of what he's done there right down throughout the club. But Mo Salah, just give him the money that he wants. If it means buying lesser player, would you rather have less money for one extra player and just get rid of the kind of dead weight that you need to do to fund that? But anyway, before we digress too much onto that,
whatever argument they put forward, should have given the money or not. I think one thing that can happen is Salah cannot leave the club.
Yeah,
it just cannot happen. Whatever has to be done to keep him there, keep him there. I've seen him on probably something online now, but he was at some bash. Prince William was there, but he was there with his agent.
Yeah.
So there's obviously he's over for talks or whatever. There's something going on there.
His buddy is his agent's like his best friend, so they kind of go anywhere.
Right. Okay. Well, he's there in it, so I'm sure something is happening.
Where did they go for that? I seen the photograph. Where were they?
I've no idea. I just seen him shaking hands with Prince William, and the agent was with him as well. So I was thinking, Jesus, there's something important going down at the moment. So hopefully the contract is it is sorted out one way or the other. Yeah. I don't think there's anywhere else he can go. Like Madrid, Barcelona, they don't have the money at the moment. No. Paris, why would he downgrade to the French league? No. He's not going to go to Man City.
He's not Sterling.
He's happy at Liverpool. No, thank God. He's happy at Liverpool. I believe he wants to stay.
Oh, he said it.
Manager for him.
He loves the club.
Just sort it out.
He loves the club. He wants to win the title.
And
the club. He wants
to hitting the badge after he scored that fantastic goal the other day.
He knows what he wants. He's like, I want to stay here. Just give me the money, because it doesn't matter. He what you call it? He gives most of his money away. Like Mane, back to the people where he comes from in the village. Like Mane gives, like, I think it's like 80% of his wages back to his village.
Does he?
Build, yeah, he pays
and things like that.
He pays each person in his village 70 quid, like a dole. Like, think of it this way, a week, just to make sure that they're sustained and have a good quality of life. So he's pretty much running his entire village.
I have to move to that village.
Yeah. But that's the sense. So the equivalent of £70 or whatever like that, each person is getting that's of age to do it, and he helps them with funding for businesses that they're starting up. He's after building hospitals there and schools and stuff like that. So I mean, he's never forgot where he came from, and he says, why do I need all of these things when I'm just comfortable where I am doing what I'm doing? So that's it. He just says he just invests and just does his own thing with the stuff on the side. You can invest on 20% of his wages, no problem. You know what I mean? And do that away. But anyway, let's get off that subject. Liverpool 5, Watford 0. Great results. Hat-trick for Bobby. Worldy again by Salah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we were literally tipping Bobby to get man of the match just before Salah popped up with his one.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Firmino, fantastic hat-trick. They're all tap-ins around the box. Brilliant. He's on form again. Mane was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
The goal he got to open it up, as I said, the pass from Salah again, but the finish was a lovely finish as well. You know, I think the whole Liverpool team at the moment are just clicking. They're doing the right things. Everything seems to be working out for them. Again, I know I made the point before, but again, it's a Jurgen Klopp team as well. I think the thing we realised when things went bad last year was just how much of a unit the Liverpool team is, and how much one part of that unit relies on the other part. So when we had like an unprecedented amount of injuries and we were missing those key components, it really did affect us in ways that it wouldn't affect the kind of, I suppose, your Man Cities or whoever have these massive squads, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, so far we're unbeaten. 5-0 win at the weekend. We thought previously that these are the 3 points we have to be picking up if we want to win the league. There shouldn't be any questions asked about it. I know it was a fantastic performance, but it's the minimum that we should be doing, picking up 3 points at Watford, you know. And obviously then Atletico and again United at the weekend, which we'll probably chat a little bit more about next, maybe, you know. So in saying that, look, a fantastic win. Liverpool sitting around top of the table. Manchester United next week, so maybe we should have a quick look at how they got on over the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see the goals? Did you?
Yeah, I was watching it live. Yeah, I was watching it live
did you
myself.
Watch the match?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched
what did you think about it?
I thought, Rodgers did what Rodgers does. He knows how to play against the United side for some reason. He's always been that way. He knows how to defend against them. He knows how to counter-attack against them. You have to say, it was too soon for Maguire to come back. He was an absolute shambles. Like, it was for Solskjaer to make that decision and him to come back, it literally spat in the face of his price tag, because he was as bad as any lowly defender in that game.
He made. I know he made. Was it 2 shocking?
Yeah, 2 shocking. That led to the goals, you know. So and even at the end, he wasn't even covering Daka, who got in for the 4th goal, you know. So, but what you have to say what capitulates or summarizes what happened to United in that game is, for one thing, Ronaldo didn't show up. I couldn't remember him touching the ball half the time. Greenwood was fantastic in what he did, but then
that
he just
was a worldy great goal.
But after that, he kind of had maybe a couple more chances, but then he just didn't really do much of anything, you know, that contributed to the game. De Gea was on form. You know, he was making some great saves there.
Great reflexes.
You know, all you can say is Greenwood got a great goal, and Tielemans stepped up with. A lot of people were saying it was a cross, but I think he meant to curl it to that side of the goal, man. So it was a brilliant goal. And then you had Soyuncu was in the right place at the right time, you know, to put him ahead. And it's the next thing that happens after that. So Rashford goes through and goal after his first game back, scores a goal, and straight from the kickoff, let's go up the other side, and Vardy scores. You know, and that just kind of goes to show you where the United mentality or mindset is at the moment. They're not shutting up shop. They're still making defensive errors. The midfield, Bruno Fernandes was non-existent in that game yesterday. He was awful in that game. Same as Maguire. So the big headers, Shaw didn't do what he did normally, and they looked kind of a bit laboured in doing what they normally do. And you don't want to be losing and conceding 4 goals the week before. I don't know if they're playing Champions League the same night as us this week, or is it the other night? But then
it's Atlanta this week, isn't it?
Atlanta. So that, and then playing us again after that. You know. So
I think we spoke about it before the football over the weekend, and I remember saying to you that I thought the match was going to go 2 ways. I thought it was either going to be a draw, or they would end up looking silly and United would lose, basically. Which did happen, but I think the bit that we added on to that, I kind of had a bit of a sneaky feeling that if United didn't put in a performance against Leicester, which they didn't, it was quite the opposite, that if they lose badly against Liverpool next week, then I think Liverpool are going to get Ole the sack. Part of me would take a great deal of joy in that happening, but another part of me is kind of going, I want to keep him there.
So it's a Moyes-in situation, and
Yeah,
just keep him there because you know he's not going to pull out. Worldly.
absolutely.
He'll have a couple of worldly results, one or two every 11 games, let's say that way,
Mm.
and then get a draw or some basic wandles or whatever like that, and scrape through a couple of results. But he'll never do it throughout the entire season to where you're going to have to worry about him in the long run for the challenge in the Premier League. But I mean, United fans were convinced at the start. Like I said it last week as well, they were absolutely convinced they were going to win the league this season. And mainly down as well when they thought that Ronaldo was going to come back, he's going to make much of a difference. But I
Yeah,
mean, he didn't make much of a difference to Juventus last season.
no.
He's always going to be able to score goals, but he's not going to be able to. He'll win you games now against lower sides, but he's disappearing against teams that know how to defend, know how to press, and know
Well,
how to counter.
as fine as a player as Ronaldo is, is he 36 now?
36.
So he doesn't have the legs that he used to have,
No.
and he's still going to score plenty of
Yeah.
goals, as you said. But like you need, like I suppose the one thing I did notice for that match today and what I seen of it is that he doesn't work.
No.
He doesn't work. He doesn't do
He
anything.
he saves the bursts and he saves the
Yeah. So I'm not saying you're playing with a man less when Ronaldo's on the pitch, but he needs to do more. He needs to do more. I just, and again, I spoke about this before. Like United are never going to be a threat to City, Chelsea, or Liverpool, and I think they have a fantastic team and a good squad and some great players. But it's the manager. I'll always say it, the manager. He's not a Klopp. He's not a Thomas Tuchel.
No.
He is not a Pep Guardiola. He's
No.
not in that class. And when things get hard, he's always going to fall short. Yeah. And that's their downfall. If you had a Pochettino or somebody like that in charge of United at the moment, I think they'd be right up there. They might be short one or two players in areas, but they would have every chance of being right up there. It's the manager every time.
I think what they're missing is a true workhorse in the middle of the park. And they're missing that Fabinho, that Kante style player. I mean, Fred was played in his position there for Brazil in the international break there, and he played fantastic. And it's a different position from what he played with United, and they don't utilize that at all. But there's no Matic hasn't got the legs that Kante and Fabinho would have. He can't do that role. Pogba's not going to do that role. Bruno Fernandes is not going to do that role. So McTominay, he can have, can it be solely putting his shoulders to become a central defensive or box to box midfielder? That will be the covering person that does a lot. I don't know. I can't see if they brought Fried in to kind of try and do that, but he kind of gets bypassed too easily for his size. I don't know. They're missing that kind of factor, and I still think they're missing a good centre back. I don't give a shit if Varane is in there and Maguire's in there. They've never been
slow for me. He's too slow. He's
not
a top defender.
No, he's not. So I'm just
And another thing then as well, I heard Pogba came out and he was kind of saying United play the same way, the same thing all the time. Another player I'd be getting rid of, and I don't know why they signed him in the first place, is Paul Pogba. I don't know how he's lasted so long at the club. And I wouldn't have him in the team at all.
It's just you can't have.
I'd shoot out of there.
You can't have individual thinking players in your team.
No,
no.
He's too. He's all about himself. Yeah. He's all about himself. He's all ego. Ronaldo has an ego, but look, he works hard and he would do as much as he can.
No, but he will run. He will run for that team. You can't. I can never question Ronaldo's input into a game. If he can run, he'll run. If he can't run, he can't run. The difference with Pogba is that he always points the blame somewhere else. When it comes to it, and he tries to act humble or something when they're in defeat or when he's not the go-to man. But when he was the go-to man, it was always like it was somebody else's fault or never his, or he wouldn't hold his hand up or whatever like that. But no, I don't see it. Look, they've got us next. We're away. They're at home. We're away. We did the job there last year, even with the team that we had. We managed to score 4 goals against them. Pretty much very similar game to what happened with Leicester. And we managed to score 4 goals there. I'm thinking with the unit that we have now, if United are anyway open or if they don't play defensively, I think we can take them apart again. They will look for that long ball over the top to Rashford if he's there. Ronaldo will always run off to the wing if he can. It all depends on who they start with. Will they start with Rashford or will they start with Ronaldo this time? He didn't contribute much against Leicester. Do you think that Van Dijk will have his number? Van Dijk or Matip will just step in and just clear all headers, and he won't be able to leap and trap the ball like he used to coming to the edge of the box. because these guys are too good in the air. Van Dijk and especially they're too good at stepping in front of players and clearing the ball easily. So
I think that might expose another problem at United at the moment with regards to the manager. He's not a strong enough character. Will he have it in him to drop Ronaldo for such an important game against Liverpool? Cristiano would definitely be upset by being dropped for a game like this. He'll think this is the stage that he should be on, and he'll want to go. And look, again, from a Liverpool point of view, you can't be too cocky either. You obviously have to be aware of the fact that sometimes it doesn't matter where Liverpool and United are in the table or how they're performing. It's still the biggest game in English football, and at the end of the day, anything can happen. Ronaldo can, of course, pop up and he could score a hat-trick. Anything could happen. So you have to be careful not to get too carried away. But if you're just looking at it on recent performances, Liverpool have to be favourites. But again, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see it. I do hope Liverpool obviously beat them. But you have to be aware of the fact that United could pull it out of the bag. And that could be the thing that would save Ole for another 6 months after that. They could go on a run then again after that. You just don't know.
Yeah. So we just have to play our game and not get complacent and not let the occasion of the game affect the way we play at all. And if we don't do that and we just play like they're another team, then I can see us getting the result. But if we let the occasion... If we give them too much respect at home, I think that's where they could probably get a boost out of that. But other than that, no, I can't see it. If it's at Old Trafford, you could say, they could get a draw. They could actually beat us if we do let the occasion get to us and overthink it. But on form, I would say it's us. Getting to it, we had Southampton beat Leeds 1-0. There's not much really to say about that. Broha got a goal. First win for Southampton in the league.
Yeah. I think I tipped Leeds to get the 3 points in that. I think it was a close enough game. I think the thing with Leeds at the moment, they're missing a lot of players, aren't they? They're missing a lot of players. So that
Ailing, Rafinha, I think was missing. So Norwich and Brighton, not much to say about that 0-0. I was surprised Brighton didn't get a result in that one, to be honest.
I'd say I think Southampton did have the better chances, didn't they, as well?
Southampton, okay.
Redmond was very good in that match.
Yeah.
He was very good. I was very impressed with him. He's so quick as well, and he created a lot of problems as well for Leeds. An awful lot of running out of him. He was very good. I was very, very impressed with him.
All right.
Again, the guy that's on loan from Chelsea that scored the goal. What was his name for Southampton?
Broha.
Broha. That's the fella, What age is he?
Young fella, I think.
He looked impressive. Looked impressive. He was doing a lot of work.
There's a player for them as well, Livermento. He's looking like, is it Livermento? Is that his name? He's looking like a good player for Southampton. It's Livermento. He's with them, isn't he?
Livermento?
Yeah, he's on loan as well, I think. But he's a good player, man.
And I think was that Southampton's first win of the season.
That's the first win of the season, yeah. That's the first win of the season.
So you never know. That might be the thing to get them going,
Yeah.
That might be the thing to get them going. I think with the Brighton match, I seen a bit of that as well. Brighton, they're doing so well this season, aren't they?
Potter's got him playing well. So
brilliant. What was the final score in that one?
Is it 0-0? That's what I said. We're expecting the Brighton win, but
yes. I did. I seen that. And what's his name? Was it Dan Byrne? Was their centre half? He made two fantastic last minute tackles as well. It was Pookie was through on goal at one stage, and the guy.
Yeah, there's great. Yeah, he was a great block in that. Yeah. The next one we're looking at here. Oh my God, what a game that was! Aston Villa and Wolves. Villa 2-0 up. Wolves came back to win it. Even in the last second, the last kick of the game, Danny Ings again with a goal, popping up. John McGinn again as well. I think it was the other scorer. But then the lads took over. Neves to finish it off. Was with the deflected free kick to the opposite side of the goal, and the keeper could just only watch it going in, and then the place erupted. But I mean that's a Midlands derby there, around the Birmingham area. So you got Aston Villa and Wolverhampton.
I think it's as well from the clips I've seen that Traore. Jesus, he's so dangerous when he's running. Yeah. He was brilliant in that game actually, and he really upset the Villa. I think all the goals that Villa conceded were very sloppy. Yeah. Very sloppy. Yeah. The free kick I think that was Traore as well, running at the Villa defence in the last minute. and they conceded a free kick, and it was Neves, I believe, scored the goal for that then, wasn't it?
The Neves was the free kick, yeah. Connor Cody even got on the score sheet to make it 2-2.
He did actually.
Yeah, so
he did,
he was there to pop up for one, so it was delighted for him. And then Danny Ings begin on one side, and then you had Sice, Cody, and Neves' deflected free kick. But that was the 95th minute or something like that, man. It was the last kick of the game. Bobby's goal. Yeah, it's like Bobby's goal yesterday. So I look fair juice to Wolves. I like Wolves in the Premier League. I like Wolves when they're playing brilliant against everybody else, and then I just, as long as we can beat them, I don't care. But anyway, great result for Wolves in a comeback, 2-0 down to go 3-2 up. Is brilliant. Against an Aston Villa side that's been really good for the last couple of seasons.
Villa are doing really well. It was just that sloppiness in defence. They just, that's the only thing they let them down on the day, I think.
Right, so we got Man City versus Burnley, 2-0.
Yes.
It wasn't really run of the mill for City. The Burnley, they frustrated them at times, and even though Bernardo Silva got the early goal. It took them until like the 17th minute to go again. Normally, this is like a 4-5-0 result for City.
Burnley had a couple of good chances as well. They definitely had two really good chances in between until Kevin De Bruyne ended up getting the goal later on, But Burnley, I think, look, it's one of those games we spoke about it before the weekend that it was going to be a 3 points for City. We probably thought it was going to be easier than what it was. I think they've had a couple of 5-0 results over the last few occasions against Burnley as well, So I think, from a Burnley point of view, it wasn't 5-0. They had some good spells during the match, but obviously they were never going to pick up the 3 points. City could have played a lot better, so obviously Burnley done okay overall, I believe.
Yeah. So we've also got Brentford versus Chelsea. So
can I just say as well, just about the City game, I think we touched on it as well. Sterling started in that one as well, and he played okay. What you reckon is going on there with Sterling and Pep? Do you think there's an issue there?
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about them during the week. I think Sterling is up to his old tricks, to be honest with you. He's citing for a move.
He's just fishing for a move.
Oh yeah, that's what he does. Yeah. Fishes for a move. I don't think I'm worried now about my position here. They got better players here. I need it to be easy for me, so I think I'm going to move somewhere where it's easy for me, but can give me the most money. So that's
nice move to Paris.
Well, he said he was speaking French there in his interview last week.
Joey Barton was speaking French.
Yeah, I don't know. Jesus. Oh, that was brilliant, man. What was he ever thinking when he was doing that?
Listen, Joey Barton. I actually read his book.
Yeah.
Brilliant, actually. He's a smart enough guy, Joey Barton.
Yeah.
You should
just
read it.
Hot-headed.
Yeah. Look, I suppose that's more to do with his background, his upbringing. Yeah. But if you read the book, you'd understand him a little bit more. But quite a bright guy, actually. But look, I won't go into it too much. We'll go back to Sterling for a second.
Yeah.
So I suppose if you think about it, kind of bigger picture, if you're looking at PSG at the moment, Mbappe won't sign a contract. He's looking to move next year. So if Sterling is looking for a move next year,
he sees the window of that left-hand side.
That's a nice spot for him, isn't it?
Yeah. He's looking at that left-hand side, coming in off the left or right easily. And to take that point, will Neymar even be there at PSG next year if they're going for somebody? I could see probably somebody like, will PSG pick up a Hazard on a cheaper price and bring him back to France? Could they do that and have Hazard and Sterling on either side of maybe a Neymar or something like that, So if Mbappe is leaving, is he going to go to Real Madrid? Is somebody going to come in and pick the pockets in January? Real Madrid can't afford to do it. Man City could afford to do it. Newcastle could probably afford to do it for next season, but they have
a bit soon for them. Yeah,
it might be it's too soon for them to have the capital put in for financial fair play. Yeah. So, but then he would want to see that there was multiple players going in there at once. So that's why it's hard for these clubs to come in. We'll get to them in a minute to do it straight away like that. But anyway, Sterling, as we call it, there's only one greedy bastard, as we call him in the stands, and he was, he's done well at City when he's there, but he's had a fantastic manager and a fantastic team with him, without actually being the main cause of him winning the league. Or at least that, he's just kind of coasted along, had really good spells, even going up to the European Championships there, he was on top of his form.
Brilliant. He was brilliant.
So and then all of a sudden you're not seeing much from him. Maybe it's burnout again, maybe it's the same as what happened to Harry Kane at the start of the season. We don't know. But when you're doing interviews about other clubs and other things, shut your mouth, Raheem. You know, just stop doing it. It just makes you look like a greedy bastard. You know, he's sitting there going,
Well,
"Oh, I want to play abroad." Eventually, he's saying, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So your man says, "Oh, but which language, if you wanted to say, would you play abroad?" He just walks straight into it
he
and
said
didn't bother.
French.
He just says, "I'm currently learning French, as in PSG, come get me, like, you know."
Well,
So yeah, so just shut up, dude. You know, and just
well,
get
you
on
know
with your
what they
game.
say? If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a
Yeah,
duck, it's a sterling, definitely. No doubt about it.
yeah.
So
So
he's pushing through to France. That's brilliant. So what was the other game we were talking about there, Kev?
Brentford and Chelsea. So Brentford were unlucky not to
Yes,
get a draw in this, man. A result
yeah.
in this, they had a better chances coming at the end of the game.
The Chelsea keeper was absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant. Brilliant.
yeah,
Great performance altogether.
yeah,
Yeah, I think Chelsea only have the one shot on target, the very
yeah.
low amount of, and that was probably where the goal came from then as well, was
Well,
it?
actually, Brentford were like 17 shots they had.
Really?
Yeah,
That many?
Chelsea
Jesus.
Chelsea had like 5 shots.
What?
Yeah,
And how many on target? Was it just,
I could see. We're gonna look that up there now. I think it was
it
like
was
seven.
clear.
It was like 7 or 8 on target for Brentford, and then it was like one. The goal that they got was their one on target.
That was
Chelsea's.
the Chilwell
So
goal.
that
So
they.
well, he connected with that well, in
But
fairness
if
to
you're
him.
going to try and go for titles, these are the kind of results.
Of
Even
course.
if you're the worst team, you need to pull out. You know.
Yeah.
So the possession was more in Chelsea's because they tried to control it a bit, but Brentford were always going to be on the counter attack all the time. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they're a dangerous side. They're going to cause hassle in this league. Tell you, like they did it for us. They dropped us 2 points outside any of the
Brilliant.
top teams besides City and Chelsea. They're the other team that, you know, that's kind of caught us on the bounce a bit. So we have to be careful now with the draws that we're going after as well for the rest of the season by
Mm.
getting results like this.
I
So,
seen Warner as well, and he got into a couple of goal scoring positions,
yeah,
but you you were just never confident he was going to put the
mm,
ball in the net. No, he didn't, obviously,
yeah,
but he's just, I don't know. It's a lack of confidence. I think there's
yeah,
something going on with that lad. He needs to go. He needs a couple of goals.
yeah,
That I just never felt like he was going to put the ball away, no
yeah,
matter how good the opportunity
yeah.
was.
Yeah, it's kind of a Torres situation. They're going to Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
big, really good big name with another club, and then all of a sudden, you know, goes there and you know is just firing blanks really, like, you know. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Look, Chelsea are going to be thereabouts. I wouldn't want to spend too much time on them. It's pretty much Brentford and what they're doing there has been fantastic,
yeah.
and yeah. So we move on to the next one. I think Everton losing at home to West Ham.
Yeah, again,
So
I didn't see this, but I seen the goals, and again,
yeah,
from everything that I could see, and again, we spoke about it before the
yeah,
weekend. We did think this was going to be a pretty tight game.
yeah.
We were both in agreement that, like, in such a short space of time, that Rafa's doing a great job at everything. He's made them into a nice compact unit. They're doing all the right things as Rafa usually does. But again, David Moyes is having a fantastic time at West
It's
Ham at the moment. So,
it's a very open game. You
mm,
know, they both had like 16 to 17 chances on goal that way. But, you know, obviously West Ham had more of the chances and they dominated possession in the game.
yeah,
So, yeah, I don't see why, well, I can see why what Moyes and the club suit each other. It's very similar club to Everton in a way, in that kind of old
yeah.
school kind of bracket, and they play that kind of Moyes style football. So, it was nice to see, well, Moyes to go back and see him get one against Everton and probably finally one over Rafa. I think so, in that kind of way. So, but yeah, thank God it wasn't when he was with us.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, there's not much more you can say about that. West Ham back
No,
up the
and
top
again,
five again or something, isn't it? As far
just
as I
the
know.
one goal in it. I think there
No,
was
it's
a bit
not.
of
It's top
controversy
7.
around the goal. It was a corner
Mm.
that they reckon shouldn't have been a corner.
Yeah,
Don't know, but I don't even know if Fair looked at it, but it was a close one anyway, as far as I could see. But
yeah,
yeah, look, one goal in it. I think that both West Ham and everything are going to be in the same kind of same positions this
yeah,
year. So you know, what can
yeah.
you do?
So next one we've got, and it's the final one of the weekend because we're not going to be able to talk about Arsenal and Crystal Palace because that's tonight.
Hmm.
But it's Newcastle and Spurs.
Yeah,
So
again, I didn't kind of watch that one as much,
yeah,
but I did kind of see. I seen Harry Kane's goal, which was,
yeah,
I believe, ruled offside to start. But it was a
yeah,
great finish. That was his first goal in the Premiership, so maybe that's the kick up the backside that he needed now to kick on
mm,
and get a few more goals for Tottenham. You know,
yeah,
Son got a great goal as well. Um, I suppose you can nearly put the match to one side at the moment and what happens within the
mm,
match. And I suppose the whole thing leading up to it was the takeover of
yeah.
Newcastle. What does the future hold? What's going to happen? It was Steve
Mm.
Bruce's 1,000th game in charge as a manager, which is
Uh,
absolutely amazing. I know
yeah,
he's
it
only
is.
ever
Yeah,
done it at a certain level, but that's 23
Yeah,
years of football, I believe.
I think he gets a raw deal because I think he gets brought into clubs that never have the money or the financial backing to do and play the kind of football he has. Because you can see in his style of football that he tries to play the old school 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 kind of United way in the way they play, but he never has the backing, or he's always the scapegoat manager, or kind of like him and Mark Hughes and
he's one of those guys, isn't he?
Yeah, they're kind of
absolutely.
we get these managers into coasters for a season or so, and then they'll just kind of steady the ship a bit because they're so likable as managers. With
I think he's what you would have called a second division manager.
Yeah,
like a Mick McCarthy or whatever. Like I think he has. I think he's won promotion 4 times. Which I think is a record. I don't think anybody's had more.
Yeah, he did it with Wigan, didn't he? He was him with Wigan, and he did it with.
I think maybe 2 with Birmingham anyway. Did he do with Hull as well? Did he?
I could have done it with Hull, yeah.
I think he did. I think did he have 2 with Birmingham, 1 with Hull? But he's done really well at that kind of a level, I suppose. It's just getting to the upper echelons of the Premiership. Then that's kind of where he's going to come on stuff. But look, a fine manager. Anyone that's managed for 1,000 games has to be doing something.
Yeah,
right,
So it's just unfortunate the fact that he's having his worst run of form with probably the worst Newcastle side in the last few years, and what's keeping him afloat is probably goals from Wilson and Sam Maxima, the way he plays in there. Shelby's gone off the boil in the last couple of seasons. He hasn't been that great. They need a top up in defence. There's going to be a lot of work to do there, but I can see him being like a Wolves. If they stay up from next season, if they get a bit of investment in and they get up there and kind of stay around that 8th position, if they can, 8th to 10th position at the first season. Obviously, then after that, once they're brought in, they'll start taking off a bit. It took like Man City or something 3 years before they were able to spend the money or something like that. So we'll see. So
I think the thing is there as well. I think no matter what happens, obviously, I from some of the highlights that I've seen. Amanda Stately, who is the lady that was involved in the takeover, who is strange enough a Liverpool fan herself, which is that's a different story. She was obviously celebrating the goal, but obviously kind of Newcastle got beaten in the end. So there was a great atmosphere. The fans were up with the whole lot. There was I believe there was a bit of booing then at half time or whatever towards the end of the match. I'd be surprised. I think the only thing that's keeping Steve Bruce in the job at the moment is that they're just trying to figure out who the next manager is.
Yeah.
That's the next step for them.
I think he's only got the position until they realise that there's a right manager ready to stay and do the project with him.
I'd imagine they're talking to people already. I've seen certain comments from Jose Mourinho saying he's had a very close affiliation with Newcastle because of Sir Bobby Robson.
Money.
Yeah. I think Mourinho would be perfect for that job at the moment.
Yeah.
They're not expecting him to win the league.
No.
Okay. He has a bit of capital to work with.
Yeah.
Just get in there, get him up to the table. He's going to get him, they're going to improve pretty
quickly. And the Newcastle fan base is such a good fan base because they're loyal to whoever comes in, Right, I'm just looking at the odds here for the next Newcastle manager, and it has Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard as the top 2 favourites, with Paulo Fonseca, Favre, Emery, and Roberto Martinez after that. But would Roberto Martinez
give up the Belgium job?
Belgium job, when she's doing so well there, or does he feel the pull of,
Is Brendan Rodgers up there at
Oh
all?
yeah, she's actually Eddie Howe and Brendan Rodgers after that. So, yeah.
I think Rodgers would be a fantastic manager for Newcastle. That would be a job that would really suit him, I think. I don't think there's any point in him leaving Leicester.
Yeah.
But for a job like that, if they have the funds, if the funds come through, obviously.
I don't think right now. I think Rodgers is the kind of guy that he would take over after the somewhat of players brought in and do that, So I don't think he wants to start a project like that again. He's already had a good project at Leicester. He's able to top that up, if you get me, and challenge.
I'm actually
for top
surprised that Lampard is the favourite. Where's that coming from?
Maybe because of what he did at Derby and where he played first at Chelsea and got into the, sorted Chelsea out, first and foremost when he played, but then he got really bad results after that. And
I think we mentioned Mourinho. I think Mourinho would be a good fit to come in there. Now whether he would do that straight away, I don't know. But as I said, he was kind of
I think Mourinho's
doing a bit of fishing.
Yeah, he's in the same boat as Rodgers. Maybe he wants to see something done there first, or he might say, "Right, no, look, I've got money behind me. I need to guarantee that these owners are going to give me at least 3 or 4 seasons to do something." you know.
Yeah,
And then because maybe what Spurs did, but your man Levy at Spurs is just, you know, he expects the world and then doesn't realize that he runs
He doesn't
Spurs.
do anything for it. Like I never understood why Mourinho went to Spurs. I knew that was going to end. I never understood why they got rid of Pochettino in the first place and then got Mourinho to replace him. It made no sense to me. But there you go. I suppose with Newcastle, look, Steve Bruce is on borrowed time. As soon as they figure out who their next manager is, he's gone straight away. I'm surprised Frank Lampard is in the running, but Gerrard was there as well.
Yeah. Emery would have been a good shout.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I just think if they have the amount of money that they say they have, and if they're going to do things that they're hoping to do, I'm not very impressed with that list, to be honest with you. I suppose is like an Antonio Conte or something
he's
like
way
that.
Down below. He's below Brendan Rodgers.
Is he?
Yeah, Zidane below that again. But Zidane's not managing anybody now.
No, he's not. No. But would he take that job though? You know what I mean?
Would he just want an easy run?
Would he go to Newcastle?
Yeah.
Like who did City?
Do you know what? No, the only person that he could talk to about that is if he talked at like Rijkaard and Hullet and a lot of these kind of guys that had some sort of affiliation with managers that ran Newcastle or coaching staff that ran Newcastle. And had a Ronald Koeman is with Barcelona, and it could be a job that he could do, but
he probably would go there though. That's the thing. I don't think he's going to be at Barca much longer. The way things are going for him, you know.
Yeah, Andrea Villas-Boas, remember him? Where did he come from?
Yeah.
If you wanted to step foot in management, they have Roy Hodgson up here, but Roy Hodgson's retired. He's like that was his last job. Shevchenko was a shout. John Terry was a shout. But these aren't managers.
I think
Chris Wilder.
I think they have to be aiming bigger. They have to be aiming bigger.
Yeah.
I think we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, the names disappoint me, to be honest with you. I think Brendan Rodgers would be a great fit for that project. Whether he'd go there or not, I don't know. Maybe he feels some sort of a loyalty to Leicester. He probably felt it to Celtic too, but that didn't stop him, did it? No. Jesus, Rafa. I wonder would they go back in for Rafa.
That's the thing. Do you know that popped into my head there when I go?
Well. Yeah. He'd be a really good manager for a project like that.
I think Graham Potter is somebody that could be exactly suited, but he's after ruling himself out saying I'm not even looking at it. Another weird shout would be Wayne Rooney with the situation that's happening at Derby at the moment. Would he jump out of that and jump into a project where he could put his influence of his experience just to kind of steady the ship or get a galvanized team going together? And
I think he would. I think he would. Derby are in trouble. I think he would go there, but whether he'd be offered the job, I'd be surprised if he was.
Yeah, you don't know, because just maybe because the kind of guy he's been at Derby, like he's been covering people's wages at Derby and all of that as well, out of his own pocket. And well, not really wages, but just like making sure the food is there. He's been supplying the food to the
in the training centre,
in the training centres and all this kind of stuff. He's been supplying all of that and putting his own money into it. He didn't want it to come out, but he admitted to it then like that he's been helping out, where he can, Fair play to him. I'm surprised like a dude like himself didn't turn around and just say, here, look, I'll put in a bid and buy the club out myself and maybe develop it from there. Kind of like, but he's not involved with any of the lads that do Salford FC or any of them. So he's not so, yeah.
I don't think so. I suppose with the Newcastle thing at the moment, we'll probably just leave it at that.
Yeah.
See how it plays out over the next few days. I would be very surprised. Steve Bruce isn't going to be there much longer. As I said, the people that have bought the club that were there representing the owners and stuff, they were celebrating wildly when Newcastle scored. It was a great start. They looked very disappointed by the end of it. Yeah. Bruce is on borrowed time. Let's just pause on that one. And
but before we've paused on that, I wanted to say was we give our well wishes best regards to the lad who had the man who had the heart attack. They had stopped in the first half or something like that, and man collapsed and needed to be resuscitated. So fair dues to the friend.
Started the
CPR, and saved his life pretty much. And then the doctor came over.
The physios ran over.
The doctor, the club doctor ran over and continued it on and all that kind of stuff. So fair dues to all those guys.
He's stable now, as far as I know.
He was sitting up in hospital and he was grand inside in hospital and all of that. So like we just want to say our thoughts and feelings are towards that gentleman that we're glad he's okay. So that's from myself.
And I presume he was a Newcastle supporter, was he?
Yeah, he was a Newcastle fan. Yeah.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
fair dues. They were fast and they worked hard, so we have to commend that. Especially that fan that started the CPR instantly and spotted the danger. So fair dues to him. I didn't get his name. He didn't want his name to be out.
I don't think he wanted his name to be mentioned.
Yeah. So. We'll respect that, but we've seen it online who it is and all of that. So fair dues to that dude. In that way. Anyway, what we were saying.
Okay, so I think with the Newcastle manager, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not really going for the names they've mentioned at the moment. Brendan Rodgers, I think, would be a good fit, as I said. Steven Gerrard, maybe because Amanda Staveley seems to have a Liverpool thing going on. I think she might be friends with him. I know she's friends with Kenny Dalglish. She's a big fan of Raf as well.
She contacted them, when she was looking to take over Liverpool, asked questions about the club and what she thinks, what they believed and all that. Because she was going for that consortium from Thailand that time, I think, as well. But she was involved with them instead of the Middle East. So there was a piece. I know it's PCP now, but it was another one called.
She's a financier, so she's involved with all these different groups. Anyway, So, no, that's fair enough. So we'll kind of have to keep our powder dry on the Newcastle job for a moment, but we will monitor it over the next few days. So I suppose we'll probably leave that at that for the moment. I think we've said enough about the weekend's football, and just let people know that, you can tell them about the subscribe options there, Kevin, on YouTube. What should
all you have to do, lads, is like and subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you hit that bell notification, it pops up to let you know when we're coming online at that exact moment. If you like the video, it helps because it sends us up to where we can be featured and where we can be seen on the YouTube algorithm. But the bell is what's most important for you guys to be able to see us coming online and to give you that notification where it pops up on your phone and says the Kitmen have gone live or or whatever channels you're watching. You always hit that bell notification to make sure that you get the information that you need when the streams start. Right, lads, that's it for this week's first edition of our EPL roundup for round 8 of the Premier League fixtures. Tomorrow night we're going to be watching the Atletico Madrid game versus Liverpool game in a live watch along. Be sure to take a look at that. That's it for the week. So for myself, also Kevin, and
myself, Kevin, also.
We are the Kitmen. Be sure to like, subscribe, as I said again, and hit that bell notification button so you can see when we're popping online. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Atletico Madrid game versus Liverpool game, and hopefully we can bring 3 points back for more point of view since we're biasly Liverpool fans. But anyway, see you again, lads. Good luck.
All the best. Bye-bye.